Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt man! All right! Episode 284 of Shirt Show! We're talking with Chantel and Andrew from Boyd Creative in Iowa. Let's go!
Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Dylan. I am the owner of Upstate Merch and the host of the Shirt Show podcast. My guests today were Chantel and Andrew Boyd from Boyd Creative. They have a fun shop. I've been following them on Instagram and kind of checking out their story, and a lot of what they're doing is pretty cool. They're really focused in like the tattoo industry and working with artists there. So it was kind of cool to see their strategy and kind of how they deal with their business. I really respect that both of them are really focused on just like quality and kind of more of like a studio where they're focused on maybe one or two jobs a day, but they're cool, fun jobs to do. I'm actually recording this intro about 6 hours after the episode took place. There was some computer stuff that had to happen. But it's funny, I mentioned in the end of the episode how I had to go to the casino, with friends afterwards, and we were going to get dinner and then just kind of gamble and hang out and have fun. I won $1,700 tonight, so booyah. No matter where you're listening to the Shirt Show, if you get anything out of this at all, please do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe on YouTube. If you can, comment, leave me a note on Instagram. If you can share and show me where you are and what you're doing when you're listening to this episode, that would be amazing. The best thing you can do to show your love for the show is to tell your friends about it. So I'd really appreciate that. You can also dive deeper into what we do here at the show by signing up for our newsletter. It's kind of taken off and it's got its own thing. It's pretty sweet. shirtshowofficial.com/newsletter. I do one every week. It is me recapping what's going on with my shop, and also, you know, there's a recap of last week's episode, and then there's shop hacks, there's marketing tips, there's all kinds of things in there, and it's growing every week. So if you could go check that out, sign up, that would be great. This show would not be possible without our amazing partners. Frank. It all starts with a screen. Whether it's new stretches or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. To find out more, go to graphicscreenfashion.com, greatfuckingscreens.com, or FFFFFrank.com. We actually talk about Frank in this episode. It's kind of nice because they know the right way to go. Cleaning screens is no fun, but EasyWay makes it way more funner. Their line of eco-friendly chemicals and equipment make reclaiming screens a whole lot easier. Right now is a great time to check them out because they have a new monthly giveaway where you have a chance to win $250 in product credit. Head over to easyway.com/giveaway to enter today. EasyWay, it's the easiest way. GraphX is your source for production-ready digital art and remote art staffing. They can help any size shop from just starting out to enterprise level. Looking to add a hero to your art department? Check them out at graphxsource.com. SNS is your premier partner in the apparel industry. With one website, one purchase order, 14 distribution centers, and over 100 beloved brands, you can streamline your ordering and hit free freight faster than ever. SNS has 1 to 2 day shipping with the lowest error rate in the industry. Be sure to order your blanks from ssactivewear.com. Today's episode is brought to you by American Apparel, makers of the iconic 2001. Soft, fitted, and always in style, this shirt has been the go-to for brands, bands, and print shops for decades. If you want a shirt people actually want to wear, start with the iconic 2001. For over 90 years, Stahls has been the leading choice among apparel decorators for their heat transfer materials, heat press equipment, and custom transfer services. Not only do they offer some of the best products, but they are always looking to innovate and educate our industry on all things heat press. Head over to stahls.com to order your transfers or check them out on YouTube to be taught a thing or two. Ryonet has been that solid go-to resource for screen printers. Not only are their supplies super reliable, but their network of education and support is next level. Whether you're figuring things out or fine-tuning your process, they've got your back. Check them out at screenprinting.com. If you're new to this industry or you've been around a while, but you're still looking for a group of like-minded individuals, check out shirtshowofficial.com/Discord. There's a link in the YouTube. There's a link on our Instagram. It is a community of screen printers, embroiderers, digital, whatever. There's all kinds of channels on there. It's absolutely free. It is monitored. There are no trolls. You can say whatever you want to say and get help. It's just a great group of people, so go check it out. I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much for listening to the show. If you do want to reach out to me directly, you can hit me up on Instagram, Shirt Show Official, and I will answer your questions, talk to you, whatever you want to say. If you want to recommend somebody you know who'd be great on this show, that's cool too. And I look forward to seeing you. Thank you. I'll talk to you guys soon. Enjoy the episode. How's it going with you guys?
Good. Did a photo shoot today for hot sauces, and
Oh yeah,
burned like, I don't know, an 8 color. That's about it.
is the photo shoot like a normal thing, or is that just for a
No.
specific client, or what was that for?
No, we got the opportunity to print for a hot sauce company that's working on great hot sauce for Iowa, and they wanted a little photo shoot with all the merch drop coming this winter for their fall launch, I guess.
Like, it's not monetized, but it is something that we offer. So
Right.
the vast majority of the contracts we have are with tattoo artists, and they don't have time to do that. And so, like behind the computer, it's a big workbench that we made when we were still printing in the garage. And it's like a 4 feet by 8 feet workbench that we like put together, and we call her Bertha. And so a few years ago, our buddy Nick Wood, shout out to him, he's helped us a lot. He's like, why don't you take more photos of your shirts on the wood? And I'm like, okay. And we're like, we call her Bertha. So that's where our usual photo shoots are done.
Yes.
Because we're like elder millennials trying to figure out, content and social media. I know that's been the common thread on the shows lately, and what you've been, kind of looking at. That's what we've been doing. So they come in with their different kinds of cameras and lighting and stuff. And we're like, we don't have any of that. We have this lighting.
Yeah.
I have this and an iPhone. That's good enough.
Yeah. So it's something we're working on,
Yeah, the cool thing is with offering something like that, and we see it all the time, like Bill does a lot of our content here while he's out in the shop and whatever. And it's nice because like things look good. Like we know how it's going to look. We know what lighting, we know what, whatever, for the most part, how these prints look. And then we send these jobs off to a customer who doesn't have like a great, background in photography or even a good camera. And they take a picture of these products and they post it on their socials. And I was like, oh God, it looks like hell. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes your work not look as good. So like if you guys can be like, well, I'm not even charging for this, but at least you're guaranteed like the product shots will look good. It just makes you look good.
Part of it. Yeah, just curating it for them. It's just an added like value. It's just a way to like honestly just bless them. Like, hey, we're pouring our heart and soul into these awesome prints, and if this will help you, share. And one thing we've been doing for almost 3 years is like, we've never had TikTok, but we make reels and we always add them on as a collaborator. And like our shared reach is like probably 10,000 on the different platforms of like, Facebook and Insta. But it's like their followers, like some of our friends, like they have 1 million followers. And like be out in our city in Des Moines, and they'll be like, hey, you're that guy that made the shirt for whatever, like influencer. But it's because they're artists and they don't have time to do it. If they already do it anyway for their store, cool. But if they don't, it's something, like you said, that's so key to make sure that like your work is being showcased in a way that you would want it to. We've been looking at the show hacks, and it's like the next thing we want to do, like on Christmas break or something, is make like the photo booth box. So I think that might help even more because, there's cool and warm lighting. I'm not a photographer, but it makes all the difference when like they're persnickety about the colors or it's branding guides,
Yeah, and there's more to that too. I don't have one, and I've been meaning to get one, and I'm going to botch what this is called. But there's that thing where basically you can put it in your photo that's got all the colors for the camera in it, and it links up to your computer, and it makes the colors match so that when you send it to the client, they can see the correct color instead of just like, oh, well, my iPhone brightness is this, or the room looks like this. It kind of color calibrates it. So that's definitely something you should get. I want to get one too. I haven't in forever.
Because like I'll take a photo inside, outside, lights on, lights off, and then
every single time.
Then I'll even take like a quick video because it just seems to look better with iPhones, like in a video. with the lights on, lights off. And then I send it
Yeah.
to Chantel, and then she makes this crazy board thingy, and the clients love it. You know,
I make like a storyboard, almost like when you're making like, you know, before you go into pitch to a big client,
Right.
show them like, this is what your final print will look like. This is on a test spin shirt, or we ordered an extra if it's a high-end client. Of course, we rock the test print sometimes. But yeah, I show them like, this is your custom ink. We do try to remain as efficient as possible, but the extra couple minutes that we do that to Pantone match. And I mean, the key thing for us from day one, I mean, combined, we have 30 years we've been doing this, but the last 5, we've been doing it as like our full-time job. We make sure that we get on-press approval. And it seems like you do that, and a lot of, reputable shops do. That's just something that we've not been willing to compromise on. So we make time to do it because it's better safe than sorry, man. I don't want to print the wrong color.
Right. Yeah, it's just the hard part about that is just getting the customer on the phone and at the ready when you have a job on press, so you don't have to sit there and wait. But I mean, again, it safeguards you to a degree of cool. Well, they're not going to argue this or say this isn't right or whatever. They approved it; it's good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually, that's part of our SOPs, a standard operating procedure is that hey, you're coming through the print queue. Can you be on guard? Especially because we have a lot of clients that are tattooers and they're tattooing on a human body. So unless they know to look, so they'll have their shop manager or their spouse, or, they'll even project it on their TV in the shop. They'll get pinged when they're ready for their test print, and they'll take a break and check it out, because you're right. If they're not available, they're busy at their work, but this is our work.
Then you're just held up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst, man, to wait on it.
Mm-hmm.
You hate that.
Well, I do want to get more into the tattoo stuff or whatever, but we kind of need to get your guys' story and how you got started and all this before I just go off on tangents the entire time. So I don't know who wants to start or how you guys want to go about it, but how did you get into it?
I'll start. I got into it when I was about 10 or 11 with my dad. I actually got started building computers, and then got my knowledge of that. And then I fell into Photoshop, and then he was printing out of his dad's garage for our local fairground way back in the day. And he would wash screens out, the wooden screens out in his dad's basement, in a washout sink, and then I just fell in love with it because I enjoy art. And then
There's also a cool thing to do with your dad.
Yeah. And then, I just stayed with it because his dad taught him, and then went into high school after being a hellion, being young, went into high school, and then I was able to have his press that he built and print on it for a little while. And then we printed stuff in high school, didn't know what we were doing. Speedball ink. Had no idea about curing shirts, And then,
so was dad into it? Dad was into it more for a fun side hobby thing, and then kind of brought you along. Okay.
Yeah, brought me along, and then I bought a Riley silver press. Then, I got a first screen printing job, washing screens. And then I moved on to a press. Had a bunch of different shops. Learned a lot.
Well, you skipped a section.
What?
We printed in college together.
Oh yeah, we did.
And for all of our friends who were in bands, before we got our first professional jobs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a side hustle for you in high school with your brother.
Mm-hmm.
And then you and I, oh man, I didn't know what I was getting into. I was and one friend we printed for back then was colorblind. So that, and no offense to anybody who is, because I think on the daily I'm colorblind, and sometimes I can't see things straight. But when you're working in a basement, he's this is nothing. I've worked in my dad's and my grandpa's garage, and I'm okay,
Yeah.
But yeah, you worked in so many shops
Yeah.
before we launched this. Probably, I think we counted a dozen.
A dozen, yeah. And then, you know,
Why was that though? Like, why were you hopping around between like a dozen shops?
I wanted to just learn the ins and outs, and also the atmosphere that came with each shop, and just how they treated their employees. Some shops I was happy at, some shops I weren't.
And for perspective, that was the course of time was like over a decade. Like that was like 15 years. He was in 12 different shops, and some of them.
Okay, because my perspective here, like before you said it was like 10, 15 years, was like a 2-year span of you working at 10 shops. And I'm like, I'm like, dude, like in all honesty, I was thinking about saying it or not. I was like, I think the problem's you, bro. Like if you're at 10 shops in a year and a half, like common denominator is that you're the issue.
Well, and here's the thing, Dylan, too, in the Iowa area, like those shops dropped like flies. Like some of those that he was working on, they shut down, they went pretty lean. I mean, so some of them were like very rural and couldn't keep their doors open. So it was like he just went where, and honestly, you left out an important part. He would have friends call him because he had so many friends in the industry in the area, and they'd be like, "We really need your help over here, man." So it was like an on-staff like consultant, like running the print floor at all these different places because he'd been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
So it's not like he shop-hopped on purpose. Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think your perspective was from that, like being around a bunch of shops? Because like I have a different perspective because I went from having my own business outsourcing, and then I worked at another shop and got a perspective there of how they do things. And then I started my own. So realistically, I had one shop perspective. And then once I got into this, I did it for X amount of years. I don't know, say 5-6 years before I visited another shop. Mm-hmm. And then once I got more involved in industry stuff, I visit shops all year long now. So like I see different things all the time, but like, in the beginning, it would have been a different perspective to be like, I visited 10, 20 shops before I even got started, because that kind of gives you a little bit of a leg up to be like, all right, well, this is what I want to do and what I don't want to do. So what was your perspective from doing like 10 shops before you even started your own thing?
Just trying to learn as much as I could, because there wasn't much on, the internet. There's only so much of Ryan Moore that you can watch in his button-up T-shirt and his spiky hair.
We love Ryan.
You're
talking about back in the day. Again, for perspective, like that was back in the day. Like your first couple Photoshops, like we had to go to the college I worked at and buy them on CD-ROM for like $1 million. But back then, I mean, those first videos or your silver press, or even we printed on yours that your dad made. Mm-hmm. I had to learn from Andrew, and he had learned through osmosis from his dad and grandpa. But you're right. Like, I mean, we love those videos, but that was it. You know?
That was really it. Like, there wasn't any.
So you were just trying to learn, like going to those other shops.
Because
that's a good point.
I'm not a blue collar guy. I don't like working at a desk job. I can't sit still.
You mean white collar?
White collar, blue collar. Like, I have a problem with attention span, and I just it's going to take me everything I can to get through this without wiggling. And I don't like to sit still. So I always want to be moving and learning as much as I can about screen printing and art and, how things work. Yeah. So and I like to be a fly on the wall and just listen to, how this works or how that works or how that didn't work. And take it all and fast forward, and I'm here.
Yeah, some of those shops pulled him off press and put him on embroidery, or he has a graphic design degree, so they'd have him do designing or ordering. And I think that's your point. That's the part you hated. You're like, get me on press. I just want to print, you know?
So you felt more comfortable being the printer than you did bouncing around and being jack of all trades, and you kind of wanted to just stick with that.
Yeah, and I wanted to learn it. I embroidered for 6 years. and I hated it. I didn't, I don't like the needle breaks. I don't like threading the machine, the tensions, like all of it. Like I can do it, but I didn't like it. I like seeing somebody giving me the artwork and saying, nobody can print this. And then I see the artwork and I see a challenge and I say, I can print this. That's
the cool thing about that is that you were an artist first and then screen printer second. So you could play around with certain things and know, okay, well, if I design it this way, it'll print this way. Or if I use this size halftone dot, I'll get these results and so on. Yeah.
Because I originally
go ahead. No,
I was just going to say, I originally wanted to be a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
I originally wanted to be a tattoo artist. And I had the opportunity and had a small apprenticeship underneath a real good friend of mine, Darren McKaig.
Like a short
apprenticeship. And then we found out that she was diagnosed with cancer. And so I stopped being in an apprenticeship and focused on my family. And then I wanted to find a way to give back to the artist and make a quality shirt at an affordable price.
You guys are working on obviously starting a career of something, like doing the apprenticeship with a tattoo artist isn't an easy thing. It's going to take a bunch of time. To getting the news of you having some kind of illness. What does that, was that like a hard pivot of, okay, cool, we're doing this instead? Or was that like, oh shit, like, I guess let's figure this out?
It was, hey, family comes first, for me. It always does, if I'm in the middle of a job and my daughter gets hurt, I'm going to just stop what I'm doing and go. Like it doesn't, I don't, but no, it was hard, but I love her to death. And so, I mean, it is what it is, and so I figured a way to give back to the art community. And it's not just tattoo artists, anybody, I just like giving back to whoever needs something. And if I can do it, I will do it.
Yeah, and we print for him today, and he's still a good friend of ours. I mean, at that time, our baby was brand new, and she was like, and I'll keep it high level, like you said. We don't have to go into all the things, but it was like we were pregnant. We found out about this diagnosis, and we got to have the baby. We were both working full time. We both had gone to college. I was finishing my master's degree, and he had this opportunity to be an apprentice. We also moved closer to the metro. There was more opportunities. Back then, Andrew had a bunch of tattoos and was an artist, and we were living in a podunky town, and there weren't a lot of opportunities for somebody who wasn't, like a fine art artist or a tattoo artist with a bunch of tattoos. So he had ran like the Radio Shack when those were a thing and done installation.
Dude, hell yeah, Radio Shack.
I mean, that was our jam.
I did that right out of college.
Oh. You used to wait in line for the new PlayStation. It was your favorite. And then he'd like open the door and let everybody in. It was a rampage. But so I felt a little guilty, if I could just be honest, like at that time. But then I just trusted and waited. I mean, I worked for the college. We talked about Andrew's story. I mean, he had always loved art. I was always his biggest fan. Like, I'm biased because we're married and we're co-owners, right? But like, I met him when I was 18, and it's going to be 20 years this year. And it's like, back then when we had that little baby, I was like, there's going to be a way, because there's a will for you to do art. I had gotten him like his first art show through the art center because I sat on the board. I was a super nerd, but my background's in writing and ministry and nonprofit. And I had been traveling a lot, and I was sick. I was tired. I wanted to come home, be with my family too, but I wanted to put him first. So the opportunity came actually a few years later when she was in preschool. We didn't know it yet, but COVID was going to happen and the whole world was going to shut down when she was in kindergarten. But an opportunity came. Okay, so 12 is the magic number, because we counted the other day, 12 different people asked Andrew to run their print shop for them. Not just those places that he was working at, but like random people, like at the church we were attending, just in our community, high school friends, people he had met at other shops that were like the union manager or whatever. Will you run a print shop for me? Because those people saw that, like you said, he picked up what to do and what not to do. So
they realized you were a dedicated person. Like,
right. He's super loyal.
You can usually tell with somebody's personality, like, even if they're not super knowledgeable on a topic, it's like, all right, this person's willing to learn. This person's willing to put everything into this. Like that's what
Yeah.
most of us are looking for in an employee or a manager or anything like that, is someone who's just like, this person's a good soul. They're a good person. They're a good worker. Like you said, you just want to be hands-on. You want to be doing something. Like you don't like to sit still. Like
I
the
don't.
problem with a lot of hires these days is they like sitting still.
Yeah.
And then nothing gets done. So
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I fully get that. So
Yeah.
you guys seem like you kind of were adapting with whatever kind of came at you at the time, and starting a business is kind of hard where you're not making money right off the bat. So were you guys having side jobs or anything when you first started, or was it just kind of like all in screen printing, whatever we make and we go?
You were still working full
I
time
was
in
still
another
working
shop.
full time at other shops for a while.
Yeah.
And then I finally had enough, and I said, we're either going to sink or we're going to swim.
Yeah.
That's-
I said
That's that. Like either we're going to make it or we're not going to make it.
Yeah, I had already
Right.
become an entrepreneur right as COVID shut down. That's when all my contracts in nonprofit and like ministry and writing, like I had already been an entrepreneur, but like more in the community side. I wasn't out to make money. I was helping organizations. I was traveling a lot. I knew a lot about marketing from a bootstrap, like grassroots point of view, like how to make
Right.
money from nothing. And Andrew was my t-shirt guy, my design guy, like when we had nobody on the board that could produce those things. And I thought, well, what if, because we were invited to go to another part of Iowa, and we were going to start a print shop for another person who did like promo stuff. They didn't produce anything. I know that's a common model in this industry. But they wanted to start producing stuff on site. And so they wanted Andrew to run it. But then the world shut down. And so I said, well, what if we cash out like my little baby retirement fund, because I had worked for the government. I had a retirement fund. And what if we bought the best manual press we could buy, and we did this? And that's what we did. We lived in a basement.
Printed.
Yeah.
We printed out of a basement.
Yeah. What did I say?
You said, I don't remember.
Okay, so we moved from an apartment in the city to the country to a house.
Yep.
And we lived in a basement with a tunnel attached to it. It was like this old country home, which being in the country was great during the pandemic. But the basement was...
Hold on. You can't fucking gloss over that there was a tunnel.
Okay.
All right, do it.
I'll explain it. So
Do it.
it was it's an old heritage farm. And so they had the house up here on the hill.
Yeah.
And then there was like
Zombies.
a little like where they would park their farm equipment down here. And so you'd go downstairs and the shop was here, but then you'd open a door and there'd be a tunnel, a brick tunnel leading to like where they'd put their farm equipment. And I guess that's where like when it was really cold, the kids would walk through this tunnel to wait for the bus on the highway. It was like a creepy, I'm talking like The Shining.
Yeah,
You
dude,
know,
we were
tunnels.
ready for the zombie apocalypse. Like our first shirts, we had me like on a wall, like the brick wall, like underneath the ground, be like, look at my shirt. And they
Yeah.
were such nerdy shirts too. But yeah. And then the derecho hit, which is, if you don't know, an inland hurricane. And every known creature on God's green earth like came down that tunnel, like toads, mice, roaches, because it was like 100-mile-an-hour winds. And so we were like in the basement, like watching the walls shake. And we're like, our press, trying to like keep our press safe,
Yeah.
We survived. We survived the tunnel. That was our first print shop, was the basement.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
memory.
I want a tunnel so bad. I'm thinking about building this house, and I'm like, oh, what can I build into it? What can I make like all these
A
weird
tunnel.
things
A
or
tunnel.
whatever? Like I want a bunker so badly, like built into the hill and have the house on
Yeah.
it. I mean, of doing it and building it, like why not put
Yeah.
something fucking awesome into it?
I mean, you already got the machine.
Yeah, might as well just do it.
Yeah.
So you're in the basement, you're doing this thing. When does it become like a real thing for you guys? Because I know, like you said, sink or swim and you're whatever, but like at some point it becomes like a holy shit, this is real. People like it. It's becoming a business.
Yeah. Well, from the basement, we had to go to my mom's barn after that
bring it out of the
hurricane
barn.
came through. And then we moved to the city and we finally bought a house. We had never bought a house and it had an attached garage.
Yep.
And we called you Wood Pusher because you were pop by.
Yeah.
It was thousands of shirts we were printing in the garage. And we were like, oh man. And then we were talking to everybody at like Made Lab and they're like, you guys got to go auto. And Richard Tilley, I talked with him. I was
They
like,
they talked you right into that rock.
I was like, no,
Well,
he
here's
needed
the
a
thing.
rock.
I started on a brown press.
Not us personally.
Like,
all those shops.
All the
that you
shops I worked at. I worked on a
Mhm.
brown press. And I think it was a Pegasus back in the day.
Mhm.
And then I worked on an Anatol.
A workhorse.
And then I worked on a Workhorse. And then I moved to a Rock U. Rock U.
Yeah, it was a little one.
And I liked it. I liked how simple it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to a crappy Workhorse manual. And then I would keep getting phone calls from a real good friend of mine that my dad used to work with in the screen printing industry. And he has a little Anatol that has air leaks and customer service.
Yeah.
And then...
But then we visited some good friends
Yeah.
that have an Anatol and they were really happy.
Yeah.
So it was just his personal preference. Also, he really loved chartreuse green.
I like
And
I don't know. I like the fact that, I can put up an 8 color, go on vacation for a week and know that I can come back and it's perfectly registered. Like it won't, hasn't moved. But also I like the customer support side to where I can get somebody on the phone right then and there and tell them what's going on.
Yeah, and to be fair, they were like, you guys just need to go auto, whatever
Yeah.
it looks like, because we just couldn't keep up. I think that's when we knew, like we literally, our customers were so gracious and they were understanding, especially like at that time I was still pretty sick. And I was trying to help, but I was learning on the fly and he was a great teacher, but I was like, I wasn't able to help because we only had one press.
Yeah, I just had a 6 color 4-station manual.
Yeah, it was
Riley
before
Hopkins.
Lee came out with his really awesome version of it.
Yeah,
We never bought
and then,
that.
And
Maybe
then
someday.
before we moved to the house, I watched Lee convert his downstairs basement
the
to
basement.
like.
Yeah, it was back
I
then.
watched that and I said, I want to have this. This is amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
then we got the house and we got the floor epoxied. I redid the drywall insulation, mini split in
Yeah.
the garage, and we made it happen on our budget.
Yeah. Jonathan at Golden Press, he was really sweet. He had us over and we walked through and he's like, showing me personally. And then we went to Made Lab and saw what they had for their rock and over at Multicraft in Chicago. And it's like, for me, I had never had my hands on an auto. I had visited Andrew. My mom retired from a factory. I am very much blue collar too, but also like weirdly white collar, and I can live on a desk too.
You're in
but
the
I was
middle.
like, dude,
Yeah.
but this shit scared the hell out of me because my mom was always talking about OSHA and like safety because she worked for 3M and like those big cutters and like those rolls, like you can get really hurt.
Mhm.
And so I was like, how am I going to be helpful to him? But then I realized, with everybody, the support, like when, Richard Tilley came or Zach Acorn, like, and then just watching all the videos that are out now, like when Andrew was talking before, there wasn't a lot out, but I knew who Ryan was because I knew those original videos. And then, just doing it for myself, I was like, I can do this, because they had other shop
Right.
owners there that never printed a shirt, only their printers had, but they were there together. And I thought that was really awesome, like
The nice
to be able to do.
thing is you had a support system already in place for the most part. Like you guys started reaching out to the people, the familiar faces, and the whatever. You mentioned going to Multicraft, and like Dave is like one of the nicest people ever.
So sweet.
And like I was working on the Rock U when Nick Wood was still at
Ryan,
Rock.
Ryanet. No,
He was at Ryanet
Yeah,
first.
that's how
Yeah, that's
far
right.
back me
Oh,
and Nick
man.
would go back. So I would call him to unlock the press every once in a while.
Oh, at your old
yeah,
job.
yeah, for sure. Me and Christina went to Multicraft after Print Hustlers and kind of hung out with Dave. And that was the first time that I got the opportunity to go to his place. And I've known Dave for a long time, but like actually going to his showroom and seeing that, and it's amazing. He's done a really great job putting that place together. And me and Ryan and Zach, Ryan and Zach were going to print this job for this, they were donating All Made or something to some organization, and they were going to print all these shirts. And we were just kind of sitting there talking and shooting the shit. And I'm just like, I'm just standing here. I might as well like get on press and help. And that was like the first time I've ever dealt with a rock, really. Like I've seen them everywhere and I know the people that have them, but like my first time actually like being on press on a rock or whatever. So it was kind of cool to play around with that for a little while and help those guys. And we printed, I don't know, like 500-600 shirts or whatever. And I was like, all right, guys, like I'm going to go now. Like I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my day. I wasn't expecting printing 500 shirts today, but whatever. But no, his place is awesome. Colton was there and he did a great job. And
was Jimmy there?
Kind of got to know each other. Jimmy was not there. Jimmy had left. He's back at M&R now. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Is Miguel still over there? They have a great team.
No,
we enjoy being to them.
No, it was only a few people there that day that I showed up, but no, it was great. He's got a really good thing going. So did you get the rock when you were in the garage? Like what's the deal
fit. No, our garage is tiny. It won't even fit a car.
It won't even fit my truck.
It's my office now.
It's her office. No,
we moved here at the same time we got we were going to be like you, Dylan, have to like, wasn't it you that had to like the Kool-Aid man, like just bust open the like side of the freaking, it used to be a gas station we're in right now. And we couldn't have fit it because it's a Next, and it's got 12. So the circumference wouldn't have allowed for it. It was actually the Easter before we launched at a bigger scale in this building and got the rock. Andrew was like, man, he was like depressed, and his mom's like, what's wrong? And he's like, I gotta find a building. And we had been to Made Lab in March and then Indianapolis about the same time to see, Indianapolis area to see Golden Press at the time. And we were just trying to wait on a building. And his mom's like, hey, I got a friend, the old gas station, she might be able to lease to you. And we went in and we opened the back door and the angels were singing because there was like 3-phase.
There was 3-phase and single phase. And
and we're like, yes.
Because I needed both.
And we couldn't find a building that had like the transformer allocated, but it was a Casey's, which is a gas station, and so they had all the freezers and stuff. But that's how we got the auto. And that, it's been 2.5 years. But when you were asking about us, like, we're going all in if we make it, like that's pretty much where we were. We knew we needed X amount, like to stay open, and we stopped doing anything else besides this. And I just was like, I believe in this really big dream you've had to do shirts better. Let's do it. And I done it before, but it was just like a side hustle. It was like every weekend, vacation, day offs, sick or healthy.
You kind of had a couple things going for you, which is nice, which you probably didn't realize quite at the time. But like now that you're in it a little bit, you can see that you had like a built-in network because you already were good at artwork. You already knew how to kind of run a shop because you had been running around doing a bunch of other things. So that's like a huge leg up that not a lot of people have, because there's a lot of people who decide, I want to start a business or I want to start a screen printing shop, who just have no fucking idea. And they like learn as they go, and they make a lot of stupid mistakes, which kind of like, it's that whole, 3 steps forward, 10 steps back bullshit or whatever, donkey kick. And, you kind of had a little bit of that already worked out. Plus, too, like one of the main things I want to talk about is that you guys have a market. Like everything I see from you guys online, on socials, and all this is like you have a specific customer. You have, you know what you're doing, you know who you want to go after, and you know how to separate that art. You know how to make it work for them, and that's for the most part tattoo artists, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. For the most part. So here's the thing, because Andrew's been doing it for so long, just like you, we won't say he's burnout, but he he had done so many like crazy jobs on crazy apparel. He's like, Chantel, don't give me this job anymore, you know, because I wasn't giving him shit jobs, I don't think.
No.
But I already knew because I was the spouse that he came home to and was like, try not to lose his shit every day. Like, you can't believe what went on, you know? And so then when we launched, I was like, well, I know how to treat people really well and give them a really good service because you're going to do a great job. But also more than that, like I already knew that industry because we had friends who were tattooers. We already had tattoos from a young age, but actually we didn't get tattooed for 10 years. So when we were jumping back in, we didn't get tattooed because I had those health issues and it just wasn't a good choice. When we jumped back in, it was like, we didn't even know about all the new machines, you know, like rotary and Sanoderm and numbing cream and all this stuff in that industry. And so we had to relearn that industry too. And as we did, like people got to know us and they saw his quality and how we were printing. Like we just started printing for a few friends during COVID. Right. They couldn't open their tattoo shop and they needed like a revenue stream, you know, or the band and they couldn't tour. I mean, you know, you went through that too. That is a big part of our business. But then funny enough, you know, we're in his hometown. It's a little town in Iowa. And I had that network in the community. So we also like print for the schools and the churches and the organizations and our friends who have all of these, you know, a lot of times they're entrepreneurs or creators too, or like that hot sauce brand, the local people, they come to us because they've tried the other stuff, you know, the other shops that Andrew used to work in and like the quality is not there. And they want to support local too. Yeah. So it's like, and then people will come to us and they'll be like, I have this company or this brand, but I want it to look like tattoo art, you know? We're like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Well, the cool thing about that is that you have kind of like a built-in, they're all artists. I tried the tattoo thing for a while and I don't know, you can tell me what you think about this, but like I used to get tattooed all the time by Josh Payne. He was my local guy, but he's also like a really good tattoo artist, whatever. So we became really close friends. And then we ended up starting this website together. It was like a Send Gallery or whatever, where it was basically a fulfillment website for tattoo artists to have shirts. Basically, it was like a Threadless, but for tattoo artists or something.
Oh, gotcha.
It ended up just not turning into a thing because it was like, pretty much every tattoo artist I ran into, all the art they always gave me, I was just like, fucking A, dude. Like, this isn't screen printable art. Like, it is to a degree, but it's like, I don't want every design to be this like 14 color sim process print. And it's like, but it was like every single one. Yeah. And the whole point of this site was that we were going to do pre-sales. So it was like, okay, I'm not going to do a pre-sale for this 14 color sim process front and back and have you sell like 6 shirts.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like some tattoo artists would do great. They'd be like, all right, we're going to sell a shitload of shirts, and they would sell a couple hundred and they'd be like, yeah, this is awesome. But like, that's not the case with every one. It's kind of like some artists are like, yeah, I want to be a part of this because all my tattoo buddies are doing this, but they post it once on Instagram and then they never talk about it ever again. And then they sell, you know, like 10 shirts or something. And it's like, guys, this doesn't work out. So it ended up just being this thing that just kind of fizzled out into nothingness anyway. And then also, to be completely honest, like I finished getting tattooed for the most part of what I wanted at the time. So me and Josh didn't talk as much. Like we would still keep in touch, but it wasn't like all the time. So then it just kind of like went into this thing. And I was just like, all right, like I'm just kind of done doing this. But again, like I kind of got burnt out on the tattoo thing because it was like, these people are talented. These people are great at what they do, but I feel like for a lot of them, it was difficult for them to set time aside to be like, well, I want to make a t-shirt. Like designing for themselves is a lot different than designing for a customer.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They like, I feel like they don't think of what they want to do for themselves, or they second guess what they want to do for themselves. But when someone comes in and is like, I want a dragon eating a thing or this and whatever, they're like, okay, cool. And they do it. But when it's like, hey, I want you to make a shirt for your shop, they're just like, oh, maybe eventually I'll get to it because I don't know what the fuck I want to do.
Yeah.
So
No, I get that.
Not to talk shit about like your niche market, but like, do you find a lot of those same issues if it's like hurting, cats to get things done?
I definitely would say, because I'm one of them, like it is hurting cats because we're all like artists and we're all like thinking creatively all the time. And like you said, they're commissioned to tattoo something on somebody's body like every single day. They have to perform. So I totally get where you're coming from. We've never had that business model. And when that business model has been pitched to us, we have just had a hard no, just a hard pass. Kindly, no, we're not going to do that. So this is how we've done it. Basically, we had a few friends who were going to see somebody who was performing, a good friend of theirs, like a famous musician, and they needed merch. And so they let us know, like, I don't know, a day ahead of time. Like, it must have been at least 2 days because we had to like one day ship, apparel and get it set up. So we did that for that friend. And then the artist found out about it, and the friend was a tattoo artist for other artists. And then it kind of spread like wildfire. At the time, I thought about, how Andrew was getting really tired. By the time we had launched this arm of our business, we had worked in the basement, barn, and garage, and he had already been at those other shops. It had already been, that was 15 years he had been doing this. And I said, Andrew, what do you want to print? And he said, I want to print more of that. And I was like, all right, cool. Find me a tattoo artist on Instagram who you love their art. And I'm going to write him a nice little note and say, hey, I noticed you've never had any merch, because that's what we kept finding. They didn't have any merch.
Most of them don't.
Yeah.
Because it's too difficult. You already hit the nail on the head. It's 14 colors and it's like so hard. And he's like, here, this is Timmy B. I've watched him forever. I feel like we're friends. He had never talked to him at this point. He's like, I love his art. I want to print this. And I sent him a nice little note and I said, Timmy, you don't know us, but my husband's a huge fan and we screen print, and he's just really wanting to print some fun art. Could we have your permission to print this art print? I think that's the secret to it, is it's something they've already produced. And he said yes. He was very gracious. He's like, absolutely. Can I pay you for it? I'm like, no, this is our gift to you. We just really want to see if we can do it. And this was like, seriously, Dylan, this was like a few months into us being on the auto.
Yep.
And Nick, being a friend, Nick Wood over at Graphic Source, I was like, Andrew, I know you're the master of stepping art, but like, maybe we phone a friend, And so Nick and I were like treading lightly. We're like, nothing wrong with your art steps, man. Like, Andrew, you're the king, but let's see what they can do. And they helped us step it out. And we printed it and it was phenomenal. And, we put a reel out there, and then literally I'm looking behind the display here, and we frame our screen print tests, like their art prints. It's like after that point, I was like, well, they already have art prints that they're selling. That's ready to be stepped out, but it's not vector. So when we've partnered with Graphic Source, to have them look at like our art steps and help us set it up so that it honors the art. But that's how we've gotten away from that. And we've just really had our MOQs in place. Like, we have to have a minimum order quantity of so much. They do run pre-sales, but they come to us after the pre-sales are done, and we invoice them, and then they distribute, because we're not Printify or, whatever those companies are. We can't do that.
So do you think that model, I feel like a lot of us print shops have kind of tried this before, where we go after dream clients and we throw them some free shit because we know it could land some big thing or whatever. Do you feel like that's a good business model for you, with the tattoo industry being so large and being so on Instagram, where you can kind of go through and find all these artists, like maybe pick every so often, like 2 or 3 at a time, and be like, hey, we want to do this design for you. It's on us. Because the thing is a lot of those things, if you print it and give it to them, even if you did like 25 shirts, 50 shirts, whatever it is, like, realistically, the investment is what, maybe $5-6 a shirt on your own thing.
Right.
Okay. So say you're $300 in or something, like that $300 investment might get you 6 or 8 new clients that are close seconds to the artist that you glorified and picked, where now they want to order shirts because their top tier buddy just got shirts and they're jealous and they want shirts too.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I mean? That's kind of the way it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the only one we gifted to. And then, of course, he's come to us and needed other things printed, and we've collabed and stuff. I mean, that was because, like, you were tired. Like, you know, we were both exhausted.
I was tired of printing the same thing over and over and over. And so, like,
you wanted to be challenged.
I wanted to be challenged with art. And also, like, I set my print shop like a tattoo shop. Like, I'm not open to the public unless you have an appointment. And I want, you know, when I print a job, that job is what's getting printed today. And that's it. Like, 1, maybe 2 jobs a day, because I want that focus and attention to be on that person's art that they spent, you know, a month doing, like Josh Payne, for instance, like, you know, drawing back pieces and stuff, you know, and getting
crazy amount of time,
getting that, you know, colors correct, lighting correct, you know, I want everything to fall into place, and I want to give that person the attention they deserve because they were kind enough to allow us to print the art and allow us, you know, to do it justice and do it the way they drew it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's very much a studio vibe, not a manufacturing facility.
Exactly.
It's more,
Yeah. And
we're not putting this on your skin, but we're putting it on apparel kind of feel and vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want, and that did work that one time. I would say now it's like, we have to, you know how tattoo artists are like closing their books? Like at times we have to close our books because we have, like, I have a leads list of like 100 that need merch when we can get to them, you know? And it's like,
yeah, that's awesome.
But then and it's such a blessing, but it's also a lot of weight on Andrew. And so I was always good at selling. You know, when I worked in nonprofit, you have to sell the mission and you have to raise money for good causes. And I'm really good at selling what he does because I'm biased, but I'm a huge fan of his. But also, like, the proof is in the pudding. Like, when people see our prints at the tattoo shows, yeah, they got to have that, like you said. But it's also like, he's a humble guy. Some people think he's like arrogant or an asshole, and he
Thanks.
knows everything about.
That's all I've ever thought in the entire time that I've known you guys online is that Andrew's a giant asshole.
I appreciate that.
Giant. But they think that because he's like, this is the way I do it and why. So we are working on that when we work with tattoo artists and they come to us and they have all these lofty goals of all the different colors. We just explain to them that our press allows, because we have 2 flashes, you know, and we have white and black we always contend with, because we always use 1 stroke as our underbase if we can. And we honestly do so many halftones and gradients to build all those colors. But we explain to them, we're going to get as close as we can to your original art. We're going to honor your art. You're going to approve the on-test, you know, on press test print. But there have been times where we had video calls and Andrew just had to have like that come to Jesus moment. Like, this is, I mean, you can try to go somewhere else and get this printed a little bit better, but this is our best ability within our setup and our know-how. And it is just a lot of like reciprocal, you know, like mutual trust, like with their brand.
Yeah, I think you might have said it too harshly to yourselves. Like, I don't want you to put out there that it's best as we could do it. I think to a degree with a lot of these things is it's like their art wasn't made for this medium. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of these people are making these designs and it's cool because it works on the computer and they can do everything is a gradient. Everything is a fade. Everything goes into this thing. And it's like, cool. This shit doesn't necessarily lend to screen printing that well. Also, when you're limited to 12 colors or whatever it is you're trying to do. So like being that agency kind of vibe thing, you can go to from artist to artist and be like, hey, like these are my limitations to a degree. These are your artistic visions to a degree. Where can we meet in the middle to create this piece that does us both justice and is something you are stoked to have and I'm stoked to create it? So I think I wouldn't say out loud that you're like, oh, hey, we're calling you because this is what we can do. I think it's more like,
I've never.
hey,
we've
I'm sticking up for you. Okay.
Yeah,
like I'm saying like,
you're saying it way better than what I was trying to say, but and honestly, that's behind the scenes with Andrew and I. Like, this is the very best we can do, but we don't ever call them with like, oh, this is the best we can do. It's like,
right. No, I get it. I'm just saying in general, like,
yeah,
that's the real feeling. That's the real vibe. It's not like, oh, well, we hit a brick wall and this is just what it is. Because I hate that more than anything when shops are just like, well, it's as good as it's going to get. And then they just like, it's like, no,
what we didn't want.
You're not either challenging yourself more or you're giving up is what it is. And I didn't want you to say that out loud and have it feel this like and give up vibe.
Yeah.
No, that's not the vibe.
And that's also like why I chose this industry. I'm not, also I love the art, but also like I want a challenge. Like I don't ask the artist to only pick 12 colors. I say, draw it the way you're going to make it into a sticker or a art print. And I will work my magic to match it as humanly possible, and that's
what's funny. This doesn't really have anything to do with you necessarily, but it's just kind of the artist mentality is like,
yeah,
I went so long with, screen printing is this method and these are the limitations and these are the whatever. And then I started to meet certain individuals who do like, I call it like fancy printing where they're adding in a bunch of like crazy special effects. So they're doing whatever. And it's like John McGee always showcases all these things from like Lon Winners or, all these other people where it's like, oh, well, we replaced the squeegee with a bristle brush. Or we crinkle, you know what I mean? Or we like crinkled up tinfoil and put it on the palette and then put the shirt on. And then the print had this weird effect or whatever. And it's like all these fucking things. And it's like, there are no limitations. You can fucking print with chocolate. You can print fucking anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a matter of having the time to do these creative things. So the cool thing is like you said, like you're dedicating a day to this design or to making this as good as it is. You can take those extra times to be like, well, you know what? We could get a more of a high density look with this, or we can add a certain percentage of puff to this, or we can do all these different things to get this print to look cool where it's not just plastisol on a t-shirt. It's like, okay, well, we're going to do this. We're going to mix mediums. We're going to do this and that. So it's just kind of cool that like you have that ability to like mess around because even here, like, I feel like there's certain days where we have extra time. And it's always cool because Bill's always game to be like, oh, well, let's try this. Like, let's play around with this. And it's cool to like sit out there and be like, oh, well, let's like, there's no pressure when you're in the manufacturing side of things. It's like, there's always this pressure on everybody to be like, oh, we got to stop the press and reburn a screen. Or, oh, we got to stop this and we got to remix this. It's like, if we didn't have that, we got to get this done. We got to get this done vibe. It'd be like, all right, cool. Let's just make another screen because it's going to make this better. Instead of like, oh, fuck, oh, like, throw your hands up. We got to redo everything. And it's like, it's a whole different vibe. I do want to touch on though, too, because there is something like you guys are doing. And then I want to get into this like burnout thing. One thing I've been really thinking about doing, and a lot of shops do it, it's not like an innovative thing or anything, is just like visiting, like conventions in the markets that you want to go after. And you guys seem to be, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I see on Instagram and stuff is you guys are going to tattoo conventions. What is your approach when you go to one? Are you setting up a booth? Are you just walking around with a backpack and a smile? Like, what is the...
So we actually print for our local tattoo convention that happens every April.
Yeah, middle of the map
tattoo convention. And we had a booth the first time.
We literally just gave away shirts.
So hang on, I'll tell the story.
Okay, tell the story.
And so we printed like 100 shirts, all different sizes. We contacted an artist and had them make the design. And we set up a booth. And I put a tip jar at the end on the table and said, you can leave a tip if you'd like. Shirts are free. Because I can't sit still at those things. That's my Disneyland.
Right.
I love tattoos, And we, moseyed around. I got tattooed. She got tattooed. And we went back and they were all gone. And I was like, huh.
Yeah, and there were some tips.
Yeah, there were some tips. And
it was
then-
like our gift to the artist.
Yeah. And so then, the following year, we got a print for them again. And they asked us if we wanted a booth. And I said, no, I don't want to take away from the artist. Let them have it. And so what we do is we actually grab a wagon and we print a bunch of shirts and we just give them away. Like last year, if they could find me wearing the shirt that we printed, they would get a free shirt, like a Where's Waldo type thing. Like, and like every year we try to reach out to an artist that, we want to commission a design from, and then we get it, and then we print it and we just give them away.
Yeah. It's like our temporary logo that we used for that year. And, some of them have been friends, or some of them have been like, oh, I love that mural. Who's the artist for that mural? And then, commission them. And But while we're there, we get to know the artist, and we do it differently on different days. One day we're getting tattooed. Another day we're going around talking to people, because people have been trying to find us and talk to us about, can you print our shirts? Hey, shirt guys, shirt girl. And then the third day we go in. Usually go to church. It's Sunday. It's like the slower day. And then we go in and we're like ninjas in all black and trying not to be spotted. And we're just like enjoying the atmosphere.
Right. You get a day to yourself. Yeah.
Just buying a bunch of nerdy art and stuff and geeking out.
Yeah.
But so that's why we started.
Would you say that you're going to kind of be, like I'm getting a different vibe here of like, it's almost like joining a Vanners club or a, something like that, where it's like, oh, the Boyds are here. You know what I mean? And like, you're just part of the family of seeing the rotating circus carnies or whatever. Like you guys are there. And people want to work with you because they just know of you. You know what I mean? Like you're there often enough.
Yeah. They've got, and it started because they got to know us because we were printing for the actual show. And then now there's like, over 300 artists. And here we come with like our commercial trailer and like bringing in all of their merch. Cause some of them are flying from halfway across the world, or that, they just don't want to drag all their goodies.
But what I wanted to hear was your approach of like, you're going on a mission. Like if I'm going to go to a trade conference or something and I'm going to walk in, I want to have some kind of a plan. I want to have, to me, your initial plan was we're going to hand out free shirts that we printed from an artist. And that's our business card. That's our, approach to these people. Like if you're going to walk up to another booth of somebody not printing, somebody tattooing, you have an icebreaker to be like, you guys want a shirt? Like you're not just like, hey, do you want to work with us? Like, give us your business. It's like, hey, I'm going to give you something first. And then we can start a conversation about like, well, I printed this. I could print your stuff too. Like, is that also in the business mindset in there? Or is it for you guys just friendly playland?
We are in playland and we are being friendly. But I think it comes from my nonprofit background and like being in community engagement. Like I just lead with generosity. Like we are grateful for their art. It's inspiring. And we just want to like thank the artists, that have let us print their shirts. So we're giving them a gift if we've printed for them. Like Andrew said, if they saw our post and they asked about the shirts, we're going to give it to them. We do have a plan. I am a huge planner.
I am not.
But we also don't want to spam them.
I could tell, Andrew.
I mean, I couldn't tell.
Well, and it also goes back.
I'm kidding, by the way. I was just busting your balls.
It's all good. I don't. I like to fly by the seat of my pants.
Yeah.
Without her, I would be lost. I wouldn't. No, she's my Alexa. She's my calendar. I love her to death.
Christina told us that you said she's God because she's there, but she's
so.
She's here right now. She texts me throughout the episode with like little notes.
And,
she's here.
And it goes back to like when I was in graphic design school, my teacher, we had a semester of like, we had to design something for like when we go into interviews, a leave behind. So I remember making like these business cards, and I made this box, all printed with like my name and all that as a leave behind after the job interview. And so that's stuck with me. And it's just like, we make our own stickers. And so like every month I make a new sticker. That's my business card. I don't hand out business cards. And so like, I always try to keep things fun and interesting. And so like I'm constantly making a new sticker, like, and I also focus on quality.
You were really bored by that.
My motto is quality over quantity. It always has.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know, and that's just the way I am. But
I think your nugget of information here with all of this, and you said it the best, is a leave behind. So I think even like going to these trade shows or going to be there is like, yeah, it's fun for you guys and you get a lot out of it personally, but it's also like you're creating a really good leave behind that isn't just some bullshit. Like you made pens. Yeah. Like you made stuff, made something that is tangible that these people actually want to have.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's a community art festival. Like sometimes people, and you're right, they are trade shows. They're showcasing their work. There's a competition, but that's their sometimes vacation. Yes, they're working sometimes, but it's like we don't want to span.
Yeah, for sure.
And if we're leaving something behind, I know I interrupted there. You were so bored by your graphic design program, and I worked for the college at the time.
Horrible.
Like I worked in higher education for about 10 years, and before we had our child, and he just was like, this is the most boring shit I have to do. Well, and I'm like, well, make it fun.
Because I started on Photoshop 6 clear back in the day. So
we thought it was even before that.
I didn't have to open my books. I was already on Photoshop and Illustrator. Yeah. You know, so like it was boring.
I just thought he needed I thought he needed a college degree because I mean it's terrible because I worked for the college, I thought, because he couldn't get a job in that small town we lived in because he had the tattoos. Little did I know I was going to get a bunch of tattoos too, but the world was going to change, you know. Yeah. At that time, to get like an office graphic design job, you had to, you know, have a portfolio.
Yeah, it was a very different time. And I'm with you, Andrew. I kind of went through the same thing. Like I was already using Photoshop like self-taught in a basement and I already had my business. Like when I was going to college, I had already started in this industry. I was already doing it. I had merch buttons and I was selling stuff and I was designing things. And I started as a designer. Like my entire career hasn't been like a printer. I've always been like in the office and like I do the design and the business and the marketing and like all of these things. So like when I started, I don't even remember what it was. It was Photoshop something. They're always pirated copies. I've never in my life bought Photoshop until Creative Cloud came out. Yeah, and then it was like, all right, well, I'll be willing to pay $20 a month or whatever for Photoshop Cloud where it updates all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, because I worked for the college and we got it like half price, but dude, it was still like, more than
like $600.
No, it was like 600. It was like more than our rent, you know. And I was like, oh, okay, if you need it, you know. I was like using my. Sorry, Mom.
You just never did the updates. You just left the cracked version and you never did the updates. I was like
using my.
Just don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or put it on a computer that you're never going to connect to the internet with, and then put it on a flash drive, and then move that over to your other computer so that it doesn't update. What are you talking about? Yeah. There's all these things.
Doing that, and then we were using one license, but then when we jumped in together, I was like, oh, I guess we'll pay for the full price.
I was that kid because my dad is this person 100,000,000%. I was that kid, and like most people, who just had like stacks of AOL discs. Yeah. Where it was like your free trial, your whatever 9-day trial ran out, and you just put a new disc in. Mm-hmm.
I love it.
When you grow up poor, like you just do whatever the fuck you got to do.
100%. I think that's what helped the hustle to do this. You know.
Yeah.
We were poor too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do want to touch on this a little bit, and you might not be aware, or you are aware. And I kind of told myself in a lot of episodes recently that I wasn't going to be a bummer, but I do want to ask you, just because I'm kind of getting a little bit of a vibe here of like, you mentioned burnout a couple times, and I've heard Andrew or you say that he's tired probably 85 times in this episode. So I do want to ask, like, you're still tired. We're all tired.
Yeah, it's true.
What are your vibes right now, Andrew? Like in all reality, because the funny thing is, you mentioned, I don't remember what it was. You mentioned burnout at some point earlier, and I laughed because it's funny. Me and Christina were talking yesterday about something, and she mentioned just like I don't remember what it was, just something, and it had to do with like burnout or being tired or something, or not having enough of whatever. And I just laughed. And she's like, what are you laughing about? It was either laugh or cry. And it was
Yeah.
like, I chose laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm just so, there's certain things going on in my life and in the business and whatever, where I'm just like, I will never give up. I will do this. I will keep going. I don't want to be the thing is that it feels shitty to me. It feels like I'm just bitching on camera or I'm whining, but it's like, this is the only time I get to talk to other printers that get it, of like, I call it all last year until right now. I just call it slugging along. Like, I feel like I'm just like
treading water.
inching and inching and inching, and I'm not actually going anywhere. I'm just kind of like continuing to inch along.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Like, in the reality, everything is okay. Like, it'll all be all right. The business is still going. But as an owner, there's certain expectations that like we strive for. Like, every year, the idea is you're going to have X amount of dollars. You're going to put this much in your bank account. You're going to have this number of growth. And you can project of like, well, next year I'm going to have this other machine. And the next year I'm going to have this many employees. And I'm going to whatever. And it's like, I'm just burnt the fuck out on slugging along. Like, I'm so ready for things to go back to what a quote unquote normal of like this trajectory. I don't even care at this point. I don't give a shit if the fucking angle is 2 degrees, as long as it's not 0. I don't care.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like, I'm asking you this because you're in kind of a different vein of like I'm happy to work on 1 or 2 jobs a day kind of thing. But like, you've been doing this long enough, like me, where you're like, I could use something different or something more creative or a new side hustle or a new something to like get me out of this. I'm just doing the thing to do the thing.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, I'm burnt out a little bit, but not really, because every day is new. It's a new thing every day because I get to work on I get to work on a new design every day. I'm not stuck doing, like at the other shops, they'd pull out a pallet of 10,000 shirts. You'd go to the giant 50-gallon drum of orange and put it in the screen, and that's what you're printing for, the
feed the machine all day.
So like, I'm burnt out. I'm tired just because I'm picky on coating screens. I'm printing all my films. I'm the one I'm the one washing out my screens when burning them, and I'm the one mixing. I'm the one, doing it all. But yeah, I wouldn't have anything to do if it wasn't for Chantel selling it, and telling my story. And like she said, I don't like talking on camera. I don't like to. I'm a very quiet person. I like to listen. And when I have something to say, I will say it.
You're doing a great job right now. You're on camera and you're talking. You're doing a great job.
But like, and I know I would love to have another body in here to, shadow me and teach them. But right now we have goals of, paying things off. And once they're paid off, I want to take that money and put it to an employee, which I already know who's going to get hired because he's our part-timer. And I trust him with my business because, I've worked with him in the past at another shop. And I don't want to have to stress or worry about, okay, our income's paid, but we can't pay our employee. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to work as hard as I can to get everything paid off in the business before I bring somebody on full time to shadow me and learn.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because like there's this weird area that you need to hit where you want to stay as lean as possible and you want to like make as much as you can. And you want to be like, in a perfect world, you're a robot and you're never going to be injured. You're never going to die. You're never going to whatever. And you can just keep leveling your things up to where you get to whatever. But then you have episodes like I just had with Rick, where it was like he had a stroke And he was like you, where it's like, okay, it's just me. I'm burning screens. I'm printing jobs. I'm doing this and that. And it's like, well, all of a sudden the tap shuts off. And it's like, well, fucking, if I'm not there to print shirts, then no money comes in. So it's like, you want to be lean and you want to do all these things, but you still need responsible people to be there to do what you know how to do, so that if something happens to you, or say you guys just want to do a tattoo convention in Alaska, like
I want to go to Alaska
somebody can still be there to like run the shop while you're in Alaska. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
I actually had the opportunity. It's funny you bring up Alaska, because I was talking with a shop out of Alaska, and they actually bring people up from the lower 48, and they have an apartment above their shop, and you can work there for like a month, and then you can go home. Like, I had that opportunity.
That's awesome.
But
Yeah. We'll have to have you do that sometime. Well, and the truth is, like, the first couple of years I was that body. And yes, I was.
I know.
And so the cancer I have is incurable. It can be manageable. I'm like a weird case. Like, most people that get it are a lot older, or it's like a secondary thing. Like, they have something else that causes it, and then it kind of goes away. But like, what I have is just always been there. Well, the first couple of years, I mean, I was here, but like, it really, I mean, you guys know,
January.
you don't mean to like work in a sweatshop.
Yeah.
You're working in a sweatshop. We got low ceilings. We were printing a lot of shirts, and it's just, I met with my doctors, and I realized, like, okay. And then we kind of had a meeting, and we're like, all right, so let's try it this way. So then I do come in and I help with the large volume jobs. I help with when Andrew's got a cluster, you know what happening in here. I come in here. I take a lot of content. I help him with like the super complex jobs, like when we're doing for like a really big convention or like a high-end artist. For the most part, it's him. And then, like you said, our very, very part-time person who's a screen tech. And the reason for that is because we're expediting paying off everything so that we can get to that point. Because our goal has always been, when we do hire that person, they're going to be a print veteran, which is our screen tech. And we're going to pay him what Andrew always wanted to get paid. And I mean, he was just always trying to get to a shop that was doing it, you know, to the best of their ability, and that paid people well, because cancer sucks, man. It costs so much money. And I made a good. I don't even want
to go down that road, because like I can't complain to someone who has cancer. Yeah. I can't come up with any complaint to someone who's like, yeah, I have cancer that just can't ever go away. I'm going to say this though real quick, because even my doctor yesterday was like, yeah, this is a fucking scam. And I was just like, all right, cool. Like, I go once a year to go get blood drawn just to make sure I'm not dying. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, I'm going to go check some stuff out. I got blood drawn, and then I don't have insurance either. So like I went and got blood drawn, and I'm in my mind, I'm like, all right, this is going to be a couple $100. It's going to be whatever. I'm just going to go do it. I got the bill the next day, and it was $1,800 to get my blood drawn.
That's crazy, right?
Like, that's all they did. I sat down, they fucking took 2 vials. I left. I got 2 hours later, I got a thing on my computer saying, these are your results. It was $1,800. I was like, you guys are insane. I called. I was like, this can't be right. Like, there's something else in here, right? And they're like, no, that's what that is. And you have a mandatory doctor's visit to do the checkup after that. And that was like $300 too. And I was like, so this is like a $2,100 checkup.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so I've had this for the 12 years. I mean, recently I've seen, like, it's not complete healing, but I am starting to feel better where I'm not in the shop every day. But what we were seeing too, I know Lee talked about this. I don't know if it was on your episode or another podcast, but he was talking about, you know, when I sit down to my desk, I'm making money. I think you've said it too. What we were seeing is I was getting pulled away anyway, because I was doing all of the back end business ops, and I was doing the marketing, you know, like we were like when you did your marketing episode, I just really related to them over at Don't Lose Hope, because I'm like, yeah, it's hard I could be on press with him. Could I do what he does? No, but I couldn't ever give my full attention. And I know that's his goal. So he's taught me how to code. He's taught me how to, reclaim screens. Our next goal though will be the laser, and the autocoder. Like we have a stair-step plan after we get the stuff paid off so that, that's why we got the auto, so we could have our lives back. Like we were already,
There's a few shops that I know that are doing it right, in my opinion. And I kind of have flip-flopped on this a little bit over the years because I think it was like the poor kid mentality of like, well, don't buy this if you're not ready and so and whatever. Don't go spend a bunch of money if you don't have to, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then after doing this for so long, I've kind of flip-flopped on that idea to a degree of like, yeah, I don't believe you should outspend what you know you can make in your safe zone. Like, I don't think you should go out and be like, well, I'm going to go get $1 million worth of equipment and it's just the work will come. Like, I think that's bullshit. I think it's kind of like gradually grow, but do automations when you can, because in reality, all of these automations are worth it. Like the autocoder, the laser, the automatic screen printer, like all of these things are something where you could have a minimal team of you two, or even like say 2 more people or whatever. And you can run that shop at a really good pace and at the highest quality, and you're good. Like if you get the autocoder, you're going to have consistent screens. You're going to have all these, whatever. The laser is going to give you perfect halftones and dots, which you really want with the detail kind of stuff that you're trying to do. So I definitely recommend going with a laser, but it's like people kind of do it backwards sometimes. We're like, oh, I'm going to get the laser, but I'm going to manually coat my screens. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
we talked about that yesterday.
It's like you need the autocoder and the laser. Like you at least get the autocoder first. Like that should be your first purchase.
Right.
Yeah.
Because his arms are going to fall off, I think. I mean, it's like we were talking about, like, your EOM at the beginning is not at the end. And he's like, he is a machine.
Oh, for sure.
But I got him the rack, and he's like, no, I'm still going to bend over, and I'm like, no.
I'm a floor coder. I'll admit it. I'm a floor coder.
Got to get him to the chiropractor. It's just like.
Hey, I don't give a shit how you do it. Like, as long as you're doing it, you're doing it. I've seen people coat things a ton of different ways. Like,
it's all about doing it the same way every single time, being persistent.
Yeah, right. He's really good at it. But I know your back hurts after coating 100. Yeah. Well, and it's like,
but also there's no way for you to gauge your EOM necessarily when you're manually coding stuff, because like you said, like the first screen is going to be different from the 10th screen, from the 20th screen, whatever. And it's like, they're all going to be a little bit different. So you could be the best coder in the world, but it doesn't matter. Like, you don't want to be doing that every day. Like, you could be at your top of your game on Monday, and then by Friday you have a cold and you had to sleep in, or you had to pick a kid up, or you had to do this or whatever. And it's you're not going to coat your screens the same way.
And like, we also, like, I plan it out a little bit. I'm kind of like, Mondays I call it my prep day. So like, I'll print all my films, I'll coat all my screens, and then I'll burn all my films for that week, and then I'm good to go.
Yeah, we're trying to be as efficient as possible so we can, get to that point where we are getting those. We're going to do it's your favorite time of year. We're going to do our like planning meeting for next year. And I know you were talking about like, it's going to be another flat year. I mean, I'm really grateful, and I know you are too. We've had really great contracts. We've had a lot of new just excitement and stuff. It'll probably be about where we thought we would be, and we're grateful for that. But like, even there's like a local grant we ran or we were in the running for, and we won some funds, and I come from grant writing and stuff. And I was like, oh, free money for our business. Never did I ever think. And I like immediately called Frank and I was like, we need 50 screens stat, and then we got enough.
Whoever's listening, take note to what she's saying. This is what you should do. The very first purchase you should do to level up is get awesome screens. And Frank is there.
And I mean, so many people told us that, and we heeded that advice. And I don't think we'd be where we are with the detail that we do without those screens. And we would get them remeshed, and Andrew would be like, I'm out of screens, and having that scarcity mindset. And I'm like, you do need those screens. So I'm glad we did that.
Yeah.
I did a rage buy I don't know. This was
Rage
this was years ago now, because the thing was, it was always the excuse of we don't have these screens burned because we never
Right.
we're out of screens, or we don't have enough
Right.
230s, or we don't have enough whatever. And I think at the time we had like 200 something screens, maybe like 250 or something. I just doubled it. I called Frank and I was like, oh, I need 500 screens. And it was
God.
like we had enough screens where it was just like, okay, like I don't want to hear that excuse ever again that we don't have enough
Mhm.
140s or something. It's like, no, we have more than enough screens now. Like we have screens in storage where it's like we pull now of like, okay, we're getting low. Let's make an order to Frank
Of ours,
Yeah.
of like
yeah.
100 screens, but we
It's-
can pull so we're never down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a smart, like that's a key move. You called it a rage buy, but I bought a drying cabinet with that grant money and those screens because I feel so bad for Andrew when he's burned an entire job and whatever happens, he has to tear it down. It's usually not anything in our control if we get that far and we have to, reburning one screen is, but I know for productivity and efficiency, it's like you said, it's the difference between, I have to reburn a screen or, I think I'll reburn a screen because I think that's going to solve all of this bullshit issue I'm having. And I wanted him to have that freedom and not feel like he was chained to that part of production, the back end work where you, all the pre-press shit before you ever get to the press,
Yeah. Well, I just want to say from like an outside perspective, like I know you guys are living in it and all this other stuff. For someone who kind of like looks at print shit all day, every day, I think you guys are doing a great job. Like in all reality, just from like I know social media is like the glitz and glamour of everything that you do, but I think the approach that you guys are having to like, okay, we're going to focus on like the tattoo stuff and just recording with you now and kind of being like, all right, well, yeah, this is just more of like, it's a business, but it's my passion. And I'm going to focus on like certain jobs a day and just kind of do them right and do every job justice. Don't lose that is what I'm trying to say. Like, just no matter what, just be like, okay, this is the way I'm going to run this business. And this is what's going to happen, because you almost are like guaranteeing for the most part, like money in the bank of like, I'm going to be known for doing this, not just being known for the guy who makes t-shirts. Like,
thank you. That means a lot. I know it's.
And I know
if
you ever come to Iowa, you might just text me and we can come and we can print shit and just hang out.
Well, I think what I'm going to do is on my way to Alaska, I'm going to stop in Iowa and I'll grab you.
Let's go.
And then we'll go to this print shop where we can bunk bed upstairs.
Yes.
Did we just become best friends? There's so much.
I will fall down onto you and probably crush you. So
I was thinking Tommy Boy. When
yeah.
We just watched
I got
that.
top bunk.
I got top bunk.
Well, I'm glad we're
exactly.
laughing about this because I don't want to like make it really heavy, but like when you live with a diagnosis like I've had, it's just been, he's my favorite person anyway, but like my favorite artist too. And it's just been awesome to watch him like grow this. But he didn't mention earlier, like his dad's no longer with us and neither is his grandpa. His grandpa was a vet. This is Veterans Day when we're recording, and we talk about burnout and getting heavy. I think it's easy for us not to get super burnout and to just really hate it because, we both lost our dads young. And my dad actually committed suicide. And I know it's real talk in this industry. Like, it's really hard when you monetize creativity. But when you remember it's still creativity that you're doing, like you said, if you have extra time and you're like, let's get jazzed about something and like geek out or do stupid, dumb, like movie quotes, it helps you get through. Because sometimes you're in like the hot seat and it's like, I'm never going to get this print done. Because you have that high standard. So,
Yeah. I think it's really hard for printers. And this is something that I've kind of recognized in myself. And you kind of mentioned it real quick, is like, it's so hard for me right now. And I think this is part of my being a whiny baby is like,
we'll whine with you.
It's so hard for me to feel motivated. Like, I know what I should be doing. You know what I mean? I could go to Print Hustlers. I can get all this motivation of like, you need to go out there and find new customers, and you need to do this AI tool, and you need to rebuild your website. You need to do this and that. It's like, that's cool. But like, as a creative, when you're like, I have to design something, like Andrew, you're going to know this. When I have to design something, when I'm forced to design it, not that I'm like, I have time and I want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't want to fucking do it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing work here, and then I do like shirt show stuff, and then I'll go home and I'll like watch TV for a little bit, and then I'll watch TV on my laptop, like with my laptop, and I'll go through and I'm like working on something. But most of the time I'm doing it because I know I need to do it. Like, I'm trying to motivate myself. But when I'm in this mood of like, fuck, like there's certain things in my personal life going on, or there's certain things with like my friends going on, or there's, you know, the way the world is right now, or something is going on, I'm not motivated to be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go build a rad website. Like, I'm not in the fucking mood. Like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, dude, that's the tattoo conventions. He's serious. That is his Disneyland.
Yeah.
That's why we go to those. We even started going to the farmer's market, and we landed that hot sauce company, and we just love their product, and their branding was freaking awesome. They illustrated everything. But like, that inspires us. I know you talked about, maybe it was with Lee's episode when he was sharing, you know, his journey of burnout and where he was at and everything he's been doing. Like, we're not ones to like work out and stuff, and he's a friend of ours and he inspires us a lot. But what, like when you were talking about walking in the woods, Andrew loves morel mushroom hunting, like those weird little morels that you can find. I think you guys have them in New York, right? He loves that, and he looks forward to that every year. He looks forward to that convention. It's those rhythms, but then the fun stuff, like we got him a pre-midlife crisis. He just turned 40, but a few years ago we got him an old boat and wrapped it in like Boyd Creative Print Shop with like a huge walleye. He loves taking that boat out, you know, and being in nature.
That's what you want to do, is you want to get away from work with work on your boat.
Yeah. Because I get stopped all the time at gas stations. Hey, did you do that? Yes, I did that.
Yeah, I was like, man, why did we wrap it? Because then people want to talk about work. But
as long as it's at a gas station and not on the lake where you're just like, leave me the fuck alone.
It has, and we've seen clients out there too on this like little tiny lake out by us. But I mean, he'll get after me too. Like, put your phone away, stop talking with the clients, you know.
But what I want to say to that degree, and Andrew, I'm sorry, I'm kind of cutting you off real quick. It's just like, that's something that I learned too a couple of years ago. Is just like, when I feel this way, it's not permanent. Like, it doesn't need to be every day. It doesn't need to be all the time or all of 2025 or whatever. Like, in reality, what it is I just need to get off my ass and like go for a walk at the lake. Like, when I actually like get up in the morning and go for a walk at the lake, which I was doing every day, and lately it hasn't been because I've been traveling and whatever, but like, I do generally feel way more motivated and way more ready for the day when I just take that hour and a half to myself to just like listen to music, or like look at the fucking water, or like be in the trees and smell the grass and like all these other things. If it's not just wake up, alarm clock, coffee, computer, this thing, work troubles, leave at 5, make dinner, go home. I call it go home, go to bed, wait for tomorrow. Cause it's like, there's that's all it is like, you're just in this like robotic thing. And it's like, if you break that up with like you said, like finding mushrooms or going to the lake or whatever it is, it's like, it's so different, and it like breaks up your mood and changes things and makes you more motivated.
And it goes back, like I've been in this industry since I was 12. And then I love her to death. She came in and she has all this energy and passion and drive to learn and all this. And I get a lot of it from her because I've already seen it all, you know, like I've seen it. So I get that motivation and passion. And like, she'll tell you, I hate sitting in front of my computer after work. I do not like to design. I just don't, because I'm tired. I'm staring at this super detailed, print. And I know I need to, look at SEPs or do SEPs or design something. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. And she's like, honey, you have to print films. Get it done, So it's nice.
Makes me sound like a military. But I do try to remind him, like, I know this isn't your favorite part. And we talk a lot about like whatever sucks his soul, I've like tried to take on, and vice versa. Like if I get a client that like they're not hearing it from me, why we can't do that or why it's going down, you know, and we're trying to serve them the best way we can. Like you said earlier, I didn't say that well, like when I was saying, you know, this is the best of our ability. We do that to each other, you know, that negative energy, like we talk through it and then we're like, okay, now we're done with that. We're going to move on.
Yeah.
But like if it sucks his soul, I've tried to learn how to do it. Like I'm not the best designer. That's not my graphic, you know, degree that I have. But I can, you know, like you were talking AI, like if the client's using AI or they brought me some Canva art or whatever, the first thing I'm doing is like I'm getting that vectorized and I'm looking at, you know, whatever your shop hacks are of like the vectorizer website or whatever, like doing all of those things that like that really sucks your soul. When you have to look at like shit art, you're like, get me out of here. But I came from community work where that's all they had, you know, they didn't have good art. And so I try to get it as close as I can and then hand it off. And then he's the last person to see it right before it hits press. And I really, really try not to inundate him with, these are all the jobs we have coming. And we like hide the boxes of apparel and stuff because he's kind of a project guy or an event guy. Like he needs to just see what he's doing that week. Otherwise, he's really not going to be motivated. I'm sorry. You're going to be like paralyzed and you're like, you know, and I'm like, we're just going to one job at a time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Again, like I think it's just the reality and it's the realness of this. And I'm just trying to like talk my way through it. And I say this all the time on the podcast, but it's just like, this is my therapy. Like me complaining about this or talking through this thing or whatever. Like this is me after I leave this talking to you guys, I'm going to be like, okay, cool. Like it's out of my mind. And I'm like, tomorrow I'm ready to fucking do the new thing or whatever. Like this is me talking through it. And, you know, it is what it is. Like we all go through it. It's not just owners too. It's like me and my friends work here and they, you know, they're managers and they go through issues too. And we're all trying to motivate each other and whatever. And it's like, that's what I'm doing. That's why I asked you guys if you could get on a little bit earlier is because like me and my best friends are like going to go fucking hit a buffet and hit a casino after this to just be like, let's just go do something. Let's just go do something fun because like we need it right now. Like we need to just like do something that's not, you know, some kind of whatever.
And it also like, I'm sorry, Dylan. You know,
no, you're good. I'm done.
It keeps me motivated and driven to like when, you know, clients, tattoo artists, whoever it may be, come to us and say, this can't be screen printed. Like it can.
It's a challenge.
Like, you know, and I think that's what keeps me going is the creativity of their brain, you know, because they do it on their tablet and then they do it on skin, you know, and then I'm over here trying to put it on a piece of cotton or polyester or whatever it may be, you know, and trying to tell them, you know, hey, you don't need to dumb down your colors, use 1,000, I don't care. But because then that gives me the challenge as an artist to, okay, I have, you know, a 12 color press. Let's get it within these 12.
Yeah. Well, and
you know,
I think we're meeting them where they're at and we're trying to help them because we've had a lot of them have become good friends if they weren't already. We've had a lot of tattoo artists say, you know, I haven't done this because it's been a pain in the, you know what, and it was a nightmare to try. And then I did with my local print shop and they did a terrible job but then they're also really struggling. You know, we've had some people, take their lives or try to, or struggle with mental illness. And because I had that, I mean, that hits really close to home because I lost my dad in that way. And he was a really creative guy. So was your dad. And so that's why we exist to do what we do is to meet people where they're at. And, you know, if nobody has ever said that to you, Dylan, I mean, it's not just therapy for you. Like, dude, I'll listen to your podcast, like while I'm working. Oh man, he's talking about my energy. And I know sometimes I annoy myself. And I'm just like calling him. I'm like, I know you're in the middle of a job, but you got to hear what I just heard. Like, have you heard the episode? You know, or he'll do the same thing. He'll call me and be like, did you hear that part of the episode? You know, and it's like the second win that we needed, you know? And I think our clients really appreciate that too, that we're passionate about what we do. And, you know, the industry is changing so much with AI and DTG and DTF. And we're still, for the most part, 99.9% of the time screen printing everything. And it can be tiresome. But like your show and the stuff that's out there now, like if it had been there back then, I mean, we can't go back in time, but I mean, where would we be if we had done this, not just almost 3 years ago, but 20 years ago when we first met, you know, when we were trying.
And it's just like you said, like I'll call Jonathan from Golden Press like once a week and we'll just sit there and chat about
you have to.
Stuff, life for a good solid hour. And I'm just sitting there pacing in a circle around my press.
Just still working.
Getting my steps in, you know? So
I think that's the reality of it too, is just kind of like, you know, there's a lot of people in this industry that I've met that, you know, are doing the same thing and whatever. And a lot of times when we talk, it has nothing to do with printing shirts. It's usually like, you know, oh, this happened at the shop today. And then it turns into some life thing of like, you know, I need to work on this, or I need to get out and get my steps, or I need to, you know, something. It's just kind of like us commiserating because we understand how important those little things are at the end of the day, where it's like, oh, I got to, you know, like Tyler, we talk all the time, and it's like, he's like, oh, I got to, you know, go on this trip with the van, and I took my daughter and we waited outside of a Taylor Swift concert, and like all of these things. And it's just like, I get the fact that like from being a business owner of like, he wants so badly to get away from the shop and use stuff that he knows, like the van and all these other things that he had to like have a connection and spend time with his daughter. And it's like to anybody else, it'd be like, oh, you're just going to spend time with your daughter. But to me, it's like super meaningful because it's like, I get to use my connections here with like certain people like Live Nation or something, where it's like, oh, I get to take my daughter to do this thing, or I get to go do this. And it's like, those are real life things. Like those are real life shit that like gets you to be like, I love what I do because I get to do these other things and share it with my kids and have a real life thing. Like to me, like people are like, oh, you're traveling all the time, or you're going to all these shows, and you're going to, as far as like print shows and stuff. And it's like, yeah, dude, like half of my friends are fucking industry people. And these are the times I get to see them. Yeah. Like I get to go to a trade show and then like do the show. And then after the show, it's like, oh, we get to go out and hang out and do whatever. And it's like
tattoo conventions for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I mean, sometimes they call us the unicorn though, because like, they never see us. We're like just a figment of their
imagination. They only see you when they come to Iowa.
Yeah. And and that's the thing. You were talking about like kids and stuff. Like people are like, why do you just call it Boyd Creative? And I'm like, well, when we launched, I mean, he was a designer, I was a writer. It was a creative studio, but we were still doing like the screen printing, but he was working as one. And she was real young, and our daughter Paisley, and now, I mean, she'll be 12 and soon she can have a real job. But this last summer, she was like our photography intern. And it's like, we take her to these events and it's really meaningful for her. She's like as tall as us. We're both like, I'm 5'3", he's 5'4", and she's like as tall as us. And she wears all of our shirts. And you know, her new sixth grade, she's in middle school now, and her sixth grade teacher was like, tell me about your family. And she's like, this is my parents' website. This is what they do. Yeah. She's like, I can tell you all about screen printing, and all of her specials teachers love her, where it's like the art, the music, the chorus, because she's not just wanting to be on a tablet and just sit in a seat. She's wanting to like
she's
be
a creative as well.
Yeah. And so it's a legacy company for us. We do hope she comes to work for us because she's really great at it. But he's a third generation screen printer. She's technically the fourth. We can't hire her, you know, she's too young. But I think that's what it's about, is like connecting. You don't always work with your spouse, but you know, caring about what your friends and your family are doing and experiencing it with them. Like, I think that's what we're missing a lot in the world. We're connected, but not really, you know?
Yeah. We get to have it in both. All right. I want to ask you guys some of these. I mean, I feel like all of our thing was personal conversation, but I'm going to ask you some personal questions. Did you guys have any shop hacks that you could think of?
The only thing I've always done is just do the dog ear on my ink lids. Like, I've always done that because I'm tired of touching them.
Dude, like, you know what? I don't even know. I save shit on my phone all the time or on my computer. I have a folder on my desktop called Stuff to Do. There's literally a screenshot of you in my folder doing the tape on the lid.
On the white. Because, I mean, it's so much easier, especially with different ink brands. Like they make it like the teeth weird on every lid's different. Mm-hmm. And it's just so much easier just to place it. You don't have to shut it. It's not going to
That's like the only other time we've gotten him to talk on video and you have proof of it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, not everybody, because they've all got their spatulas up and that's cool. It makes for good content.
My question is, what tape are you using? Because I've tried it with certain tapes and I just end up pulling the tape off the lid.
I use the green Ryonet tape.
Mm-hmm. So
know,
like an R tape, like for water-based screens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I use. I use it on all my everything.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay. And that was one of his pet peeves of don't ever do.
My biggest pet peeves is because like I would go to other shops and the ink walls would just be disgusting. Like you couldn't touch the container, like.
Yeah. Well, and I would make a mess. I'm just going to tell myself.
So now, here at Upstate, like all of our containers are for the most part clean and like the lids are clean. The problem isn't that the lid on the outside is clean or dirty. It's that when you go to grab underneath and pry the lid up, there's ink on the lip and then it gets on your fingertips.
Yeah.
So that's where like I saw your thing with the tape, and I've also seen people buy like suction cups with a little handle on top, and they suction cup on top of the lid to take it off. The problem with those is the suction cups don't last. They end up like puckering up and coming off. Yeah. And then I tried your tape thing, but I think I was just using the wrong tape, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great." And then I pull it, and the fucking tape just comes off, and I'm like, "All right, I'm just using the wrong tape." But like, I fully understand. And if you can get it to where you can just take it off like that, you're going to save so much time, so many baby wipes, whatever, for the people mixing inks, because they can take the lid off without making a mess. So
he also cuts the sleeves off of shirts and uses those to clean squeegees. He has a million hacks. That's why I'm glad he finally wanted to do something like this and get some industry knowledge out there, because he just has all this intellectual property up in here.
I more just wanted to let you know that there's a creepy still photo of you in my computer in a folder that's of you with the tape.
When we cross paths, I want you to print it out and I'll sign it and we can frame it and we can put it
in in your Alaskan bedroom.
Right. We'll hang it above the bunk bed.
Yes. Hey,
did you have another one, or do you just want to do the dog here?
Okay, so I know I'm his biggest fan, and you're going to the restroom. I like fangirl, about the art that you all are doing in this industry. I had to ask for permission, but I asked him if I could take his screen print tests and frame them. Because, like in the tattoo industry, they have all their stencils on the wall. And, I'm not one going to like art museums and stuff, but I was like, this is art that you've made. So we started doing that. And I think if we're talking motivation, like if people are really proud of their screen print art, I think that's a good hack. I mean, it doesn't help you with efficiency, but if you care to look at it. It's a mental thing. Yeah. Some of them you may never want to see on a wall because it may be really great screen print, but you're like, I don't want to see that again because you printed too many, or like it was just hard to get set up or whatever. But I like that for a hack because other people have started doing that in their studios because it's like, okay, I can see my growth. We switch them out though quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because
we just found out as a hack as a screen printer is to have a super tiny bladder, because Andrew was literally gone for like 16 seconds.
Well, full disclosure, I was a preemie when I was born.
Yeah, he was.
I could fit in the palm of my grandmother's hand.
He was born at 6 months. He's like a miracle.
Yeah,
his mom told me.
I believe her. So that's not much of a life hack that people can carry away and do. Greatest shop fail.
Can I take this one?
Go for it.
I think at the beginning when we went auto, not having enough SOPs in place, that's one. Even though I'm the ultimate planner, like have some standard operating procedures in place about how you're going to do it. But one of the bigger parts of that is like some SOPs about how you're going to talk with clients before you set up the job, expectations, and then what happens when shit hits the fan and it goes sideways. Like at the beginning, it's not like we had problems all the time, but if there was something like we got a batch of shirts that like were sewn wrong and we loaded them right, and the clients had some questions, but it wasn't like they hated the shirts or anything. But I was stunned. I didn't know what to do. Well, now in the AI world, like you can Google that style of shirt, like are they sewn wrong or whatever. I just think the biggest print fail when we started is like when shit hit the fan, we were like, what do we do? What do we say? You know? And I think we've grown a lot, like being confident and knowing that you're doing good work and how you approach that. Like we never handled anything wrong and clients have all been really happy, but it's like, how do you communicate with clients when they have questions about color? Like we talked about earlier, or how it was printed or the size of it,
almost like having a doc of scripts of like, okay, well, if they ask about this is kind of like our go-to answer. Or if they, something to where you're just not like, I don't know.
Right. I really felt panicked because I had never anticipated that, because I thought we were dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's. And I'm like, well, I didn't sew the shirt,
Right.
We loaded it correctly.
You blame it on somebody else kind of thing.
No, I didn't want to.
What shirt has your shop printed that you're the most proud of?
I'm looking at my wall behind you that you can't see.
Oh, the screen prints?
Yeah, I don't.
Well, we thought about this yesterday. I mean, it's hard to choose because a lot of them that we're proud of are like artists. I think it's like, it's a hard word to say, artists.
I think the question I think the question's more for Andrew, and it's kind of like which one was maybe, I don't want to say which one's your favorite because you don't want to, they're all your children, but like which one are you like, I didn't think I could pull this off and you pulled it off and you're like stoked that you did it.
You wore the shirt. I get a lot of lady faces, and doing faces is very hard.
Oh, this one.
I would probably say this New York one that we got to do last year was the most challenging and my most favorite one.
You were most proud of it?
Yeah, I was most proud of it just because of, all the shadows, all the half.
Human faces are hard.
Yeah, like she's wearing it, and I would say it's probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's the most challenging thing. And like we have a spot on our ink wall that's just like flesh tones. Yeah. Because it's like that's the hardest thing. Like you can do all the steps, get everything right, but then you could pick the wrong ink that makes them look jaundice, or it makes them look not the ethnicity that they are. Yep. And then it's like, okay, well this is for a human being. Like it's worse. Like that might just be some like made up person, like some artistic drawing of a face. But what if you're doing like a comedian or like a fucking artist, and you're like, fuck, I need to get like their flesh tone dialed because I don't want to make them something that they're not.
Yeah, I and that's the thing, and like that's another reason why I got into tattooing the industry for the shirts is because I want a challenge.
Yeah. You were bored.
Yeah.
Maybe you weren't as tired. You were bored.
Yeah.
Like that was making you tired.
All right. Well, you didn't talk about TV shows or movies this entire time. So I'm just going to, hopefully you got answers for this is top four. I'm going to give you a choice. I'm going to give you top 4 favorite movies of all time or top 4 favorite TV shows of all time.
I'll go movies.
I know exactly what 4. And they're like 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Is it Christmas movies?
No, it could be.
Okay.
I would say my top 4 personally are probably going to be Joe Dirt.
Oh, hell
Home Alone. The first one. And then
it's the only one that counts.
Yes. And then Tommy Boy or Black Sheep.
Fuck yeah. We're on the same page.
And then I would probably go. What's the top one? Grumpy Old Men.
Stole one of mine.
Those are classics.
That's how I want to go. I told her, I said, when I get old and put a love seat by a lake, give me a case of beer, let me go.
Oh, you're talking about the second
Grumpy
one.
Old Men.
Bad guys? Yeah.
Yeah.
Grumpy Old Men
we
is
call that a Christmas
great.
movie.
We watch it
every Christmas.
Like that's
The second one because it's like a
we watch 1 and 2.
a holiday movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I like them.
I love your top 4. I think it's great. The only one that, like, to me, and this is just an opinion, is like the Home Alone thing.
You can only one. Number one.
Yeah.
She says number 2, and then after that, who cares? Because they all.
I mean, I wouldn't know half of these like cult classics if I wasn't married to him. Like growing up, I didn't have cable, and we were so poor when we first got together. We watched infomercials for fun.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to get too deep, but like movies for me have been my escape since I was a child. Like,
yeah, for sure. Our kids that way too.
The one thing that like I looked forward to every Friday when I went to my dad's house was it was always the same routine. It was like he got a pizza, he went to fucking
Blockbuster?
what was it? Like a block. It wasn't Blockbuster in my town, but it was like in the grocery store. It was like movie rental,
those.
whatever.
Yeah.
You would go in with the 2 clothespins with the numbers on them and pick the movies, and then be like, okay. And then if you rented 2 movies, you got a bag of popcorn. And it was like he would get like a 3-liter, not a 2-liter, a 3-liter of like top pop soda. Yep. And it was like we would have movies and pizza, and it was like we just watch movies. And I was like, no matter your situation, no matter how much money you have, no matter anything, it's like anybody can watch a movie and experience that thing. Like if you know what he's talking and you're just fully enveloped in that movie, like you're experiencing it the same anybody in any situation is. And it's just it's the best. Like that's my way to just unwind at the end of a day, is just be like, I just want to fucking watch a show or watch a movie, because I get to just fully, I don't have to think about anything other than what's happening in this thing right now.
I would also say next would be Gremlins.
Did you?
I would say Gremlins.
They're making a new one. Did you see that?
I know. I did, because I'm so old. I remember I actually just went and saw the new Tron.
Yeah,
you did with your brothers. Yep.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
But that's
I like the second one. Well, the first and second one, obviously. I think the third one was kind of trash, but it was worthy of watching. Like it was it had the eye candy, which made me happy and whatever.
I think that's fun too. Just go in, like the remakes or the new of like the old movies, going with your kids or your buddies or his brothers he went with. Just like
what's funny?
Watched, as a kid.
What's funny to me is I can appreciate almost any movie unless it's just like they just totally were off base. But like I hate critics that are just like, oh, this movie was blah blah blah, it sucked and whatever. And it's like, I can't remember what comedian said it, but I think it was like Nick Swartzen, like forever ago, said this, and he was like, people shit on like Transformers, and it's like, yeah, like I get it. It's just like Michael Bay stuff and it's like explosions and whatever. But like, think of somebody like 100 years ago seeing Transformers, it would blow their fucking brains out. Like it would, they'd be like, oh my God, these cars turned into robots and they're like shooting shit and they're like doing all these things. It's like, just accept it what it is. You are buying a ticket to Transformers. Why are you thinking that it's like Shawshank? Like, go in thinking you're going to watch cars turn into robots and they're going to fight each other. Like, it's what it is. Good. Like, enjoy it and shut the fuck up. Like, quit complaining about stupid stuff. Like, just enjoy it.
Can you make a movie? Why don't you go make a movie?
Oh, did you? You know how many thousands of people worked on the new Tron? And all you see online is like, this was trash. And it's like, it wasn't fucking trash. You're just an asshole. Like,
appreciate.
I do. All right. Now I'm going to say this with a grain of salt because I just watched a movie before I went to Print Hustlers. It was called House of Dynamite. It was on Netflix. It's about,
oh my God, first inning ever.
There you go. There you go. Exactly. But that's where that's where I'm saying, like, the movie was good. The acting was good. Everything was good. But people got the director, in my opinion, made a movie that was like, well, I'm going to make you think. And it's like, what you did is you had me do 2 hours of anxiety and then there was zero payoff.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
there was like build up
Like,
to nothing.
It was
Ugh.
just, this is, oh my God, this is going to happen. Credits. And you're just like,
Yeah.
what the
Right?
fuck?
Yeah.
I landed in Chicago and I was in a mood. Christina thought I was mad at her. She was
Yeah.
like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I watched this movie on the plane and I'm just pissed. Like, leave me alone. Like, I basically,
Moody
I
about-
got no payoff. Like, it was
Yeah.
no satisfaction. And I was just like, I'm done. Like, leave me alone
Yep.
I'm in a mood. Just leave me alone. But again, that's also the sign of a good movie too, is it invoked emotion. So it's kind of
Yeah,
like,
for sure. I mean,
well, it made me
I was
think
trying
and
to
it made
reason with
me whatever.
Andrew. Yeah, I was like, I mean, I used to be a writer, and that's like what my first degree was in. I was like, well, it's a dystopia. It's supposed to make you
No.
feel bad. He was like, no, that's like the way. He's like,
Stupid.
that's how we end. I'm like, yeah, you get to choose what happens. He's like, no, there better be a second one. I'm
No,
like,
no, there's
I
just
know.
nothing. The best part about that was I was flying to Chicago, like
Right? I
watching
know.
this movie as I'm flying to Chicago about a new kid in Chicago. So
Poetic.
it was kind of good.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, and I have to tell
but
myself,
anyways-
Dylan, I had never seen The Matrix until recently, and you're talking about transforming cars. Like, I'm
It's a
watching The
great movie.
Matrix in
It's one of the best.
2025, and I'm like, how did I live the last 20 years not having watched that movie? Like,
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I'm looking around and
very
I'm
much
like, we
so.
are in The Matrix, or, like,
It's
for
one
a
of those
few days.
movies. It's one of those movies, especially now with all the AI stuff, where like it's
Right,
very
yeah.
relevant and you should watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great. Well, we talked about movies for a good amount of time, but I really appreciate you guys. I'm glad you guys are here and doing what you're doing, and just keep doing everything that you guys are on a trajectory to do right now, because staying in the market that you're in, really loving the market that you're in, and having passion for printing is kind of something that a lot of shops are lacking right now. So you guys are doing great. I appreciate you coming on the show with me and shooting the shit and making it work.
Always.
And I hope that we get to do this Alaska trip in what do you think, like a week
I'm
or
down.
two?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me
All right.
schedule it.
Yeah. I'll
Let's-
put it in the suggestion box.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
no, thank
and
you.
I will
Thank
talk
you
to
for
I'll talk to
everything you
soon.
put out there, too. Like, you motivate us all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I try. I need to get out of my whiny baby situation, but after
No,
that,
that's what we're here for.
After
Like,
that'll be
who
good.
else is going to understand what you're going through,
Mhm.
besides other print
Yeah.
owners or, print shop owners?
All right, guys. I'll see you later.
All right.
See ya.